So, as you may be knowing that the US has now started withdrawing its forces from Afghanistan. So, what kind of implication it will have for the region and for India? That is what we are going to discuss today. First of all, since this war actually started in Afghanistan when the ISAF forces removed you know, Taliban from the power. From that time onwards, also this war has been very unpopular in US because of the amount of money having been spent on this war was huge, and American forces also suffered a lot of casualties. So whenever the body bags of the soldiers used to go back to the USA, there was a huge protest against this war. That is the reason why even Donald Trump also and other president started talking to Taliban in Doha uh, for a peaceful political solution so that America can leave the Afghanistan respectively. And these talks was going on in Doha, and under these talks, Taliban actually earlier uh, agreed to give a lot of concession to the international community. For example, they were agreed to protect the women rights. They also agreed not to allow the Afghanistan soil to be used by any terrorist organization against the US and its allies. Then they were also they were supposed to take part in the you know in the talks with the Afghanistan government uh, and for an inclusive government that was to be formed after the election. So these were the concession that Taliban actually agreed to give to the international community. But after the Joe Biden came to the power, then hastily the America, US has started withdrawing his forces, and that is the reason why the Taliban believe that Americans has lost the war in Afghanistan, and they see this as an opportunity to get uh, captured as many towns as they can. That is the reason that after the U.S. forces has withdrawn from the Afghanistan, Taliban has captured almost all the border towns and most of the territory in Afghanistan. Now we will have to see exactly how long this government will survive, because there are a lot of reports of people, fleeing Afghanistan to some to surrounding countries. So that's why now we have to see exactly how these Afghani forces is going to fight with Taliban. But this is definitely going to pose a lot of challenges uh, to India. But US still says that they are still committed to the peace process, and under the this there was some a meeting was to be held in Turkey, where the Blinken actually put one plan under which the 90 days ceasefire was to be declared. Then And the talks was to be held between the government and Taliban for inclusive government. Even the mm, under the UN auspices, the all the countries like US, Russia, China, Pakistan, Iran, and India was also mm, uh, supposed to held a meeting for the political solution of the Afghanistan crisis. But Taliban has, is not willing to now find any kind of political solution because they know very well that they have now upper hand. So that's why they they are not right now prepared to adhere to the concession that they made earlier, saying that America could not hold on to the May deadline for the complete withdrawal of the forces. That's why they will not be responsible for any kind of consequences in the future. So that clearly is indicative of the fact that they know very well that they have an upper hand. That's why they are not willing to concede anything right now. So now, what is the and these all these things are not actually taking place because US the main right now the focus of the US government is to contain China. That's why they want to leave Afghanistan because they don't want to waste their resources in Afghanistan. That is why they are focusing more on Asia Pacific region. That is the reason why you may have observed that soon after, as you are coming to the power, the Joe Biden immediately dispatched a lot of many diplomats to the Japan, South Korea, and Australia, and that is how they also went on to revive the Quad. But India is the only country among the Quad members which actually shares the border with the China. That is the reason why India cannot take as strong a stance against China as the other country can take. So US can leave Afghanistan, but India will have to, suffer from the consequences of US withdrawal. So now, what actually is the main you should main what are the basically uh, now the main aim of the India in Afghanistan? First of all, the India has to protect its investment because in the last 15 years, after the Taliban was ousted, the India has made a huge amount of investment in Afghanistan. That's why it has to protect this investment in Afghanistan. The second challenge, that India faces right now is that it has to also prevent you know, the influence of Pakistan in Afghanistan because, as you may be knowing, that the Taliban is a creation of Pakistan intelligence agency. So that's why Pakistan actually definitely is going to have a strategic depth because in Afghanistan because Pakistan use this Taliban as a tool for furthering their goal of the uh, diplomacy in Afghanistan. So, because after the Taliban was ousted, most of the Taliban leader, they fled to the Pakistan and they were staying in Pakistan since then. That's why Pakistan was not fully cooperating with US in the Afghanistan. So that is why a lot of terror network like Haqqani network is, operating in Afghanistan from the Pakistan region. So that's why definitely the Pakistan is going to have a more say in the Afghanistan. And India's main aim is to challenge is to contain the influence of Pakistan and Afghanistan, which seems highly unlikely given the kind of relationship that the Pakistan has with the Taliban. So that is another challenge. Then another challenge is that India has to, anyhow uh, prevent the Afghanistan from becoming some kind of launch pad for the terrorist attack in India, because most of the terrorist group operating in India has already established their bases in Afghanistan. So that's why it will be also the big challenge for India not to allow the Afghanistan soil to be used against the India. Mm. So what are the options that India have? Some people are suggesting that India should start talking to Taliban because ultimately they are going to, even if the inclusive government is formed, then also they are going to the part of the government. And India has also started talking to Taliban. But as I said, that given the proximity and the relationship that India, uh, the Taliban have with Pakistan, I think India is not going to get succeeded in this regard. But we can still we can talk to Taliban about the fact that if we will keep on investing the money in India, then the Taliban should not allow this terrorist group operating against India to get themselves established in the Afghanistan. So this is a one thing that we can do. Then we can also ask Pakistan to, Taliban to have autonomy in their foreign policy, because some of the people think that in the last 25 years, Pakistan, the Taliban has also got a lot of experience, and now it has got changed from the Taliban that was actually there in the 25 years back. Because they know that if they don't cooperate with the international community, then they can face the same kind of problem that they faced 15 years back. So that's why people think that the Taliban will be not the same Taliban as it was some time back. But as I told you, like these it's highly unlikely that we can have a some kind of uh, agreement with Taliban. So India have another option, that is India can collaborate with the other surrounding countries with respect to finding some political solution in Afghanistan. Like for example, because these countries also have almost same kind of concern, like China is also concerned about the political instability spreading, spilling over to the Xinjiang province, where the Uyghur movement is already going on. In the same manner, the Russia was also concerned about the political instability in Afghanistan, because of the some separatist movement is also going on in Chechnya, and Iran is basically the Shia country. That's why they having a regime which believe in Devband ideology will not augur well for Iran also. So that's why India can collaborate with these countries to anyhow protect its interest in Afghanistan. India was building the Chabahar port in Iran through which it could have reached to Afghanistan from the Arabian Sea, but big under the pressure from the US, India could not build this port, and later on the Iran also came out from this treaty, so that was a big mistake India made. Otherwise, India would be having right now better access in Afghanistan. Then India can also use some non-conventional method because when Taliban was in power earlier in 1990s, at that point of time, India used to give a lot of assistance to the Northern Alliance. So in the same manner, we can also use some unconventional method to have some influence in Afghanistan. We can support all those people who are against the Taliban. First of all, we should give as much support as we can to the present government's forces so that they can fight Taliban, and that's how we can protect our interests. So these are the options that India have, because right now it is the all the gain achieved during the 15 years of the Afghani government is going to get lost.